Okay. So most people in my position or who are getting on here to speak on what I'm about to speak on would say or put a little thing up that says trigger warning. I'm not going to do that because every single person needs to hear what I'm about to say. So there's no trigger warning here, okay? Please forgive me. I'm so not sorry. This is probably one of in the top 3 most, like I am the most passionate about this subject. Like I said, in the top 3. About a week ago or so, I got word. I was at the gas station. This girl said that she had worked at this place. I was wearing the shirt. And we started talking back and forth. And I asked her, I was like, do you know this person? And she was like, yeah, I know him. I've known him forever. And she was like, do you remember this guy? And I said, yeah, I loved him. He was like, blah, blah, blah. And she said, did you know he died? And I said, what? And I'm like, what happened? You know, I'm thinking like car wreck or something like that. And she said that he took his own life. And I just stood there. There was people in line behind me. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And I just kept saying it over and over. And I was paying for some Views pods, and I was doing tap to pay, and I tapped the wrong card and it got declined because I didn't have money there. And I was like, I'm sorry, like that's the wrong card. And she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw that on you. I'm like, and I really didn't even know how to say anything except, oh my God, oh my God. So I get in the car and I look it up, and I see this video that someone had posted, and they were like, if you have anyone that that is struggling with depression or whatever, please, let's, just one of those things. And that is important. This video is not me trash talking that necessarily, but this guy, I didn't even know him that long. We just worked together, but he has such a sweet, calm spirit, so genuine. And this is a story that sticks out in my brain. But we had a work Christmas party, and I was late because I'm always late for everything. And as soon as I get in there, I sit down, with another coworker, and he runs over almost to where I'm at and pulls up a chair. And he's like, hey, Kelsey, what's going on? Whatever, he's, he's a younger kid or whatever, not super young, probably 25-ish, I guess. And he sits down beside me, and so we get to talking, and I did I felt like it was a little bit odd, not in a bad way, but just I was like, this is what's going on here? We didn't really have the type of relationship for him to it was like a best friend vibe, as soon as your best friend shows up, you run over there. That's what it was like. But it was sweet, and I loved every minute of it. And it was just the whole time I'm like, why is this kid latching on to me right now? Why is he just right there with me? You know what I'm saying? The whole time. And he told me a little bit about himself. It wasn't anything deep at all. Just I think we talked about what we wear outside of work, our style and stuff like that, just shit like that or whatever. And anyway, so he was just, I don't know, there was something about his spirit that was just so precious, you know what I'm saying? And I would just, of course, at work and stuff like that, I would see him here and there, and we never we talked about hanging out, but we never really actually did. It just didn't work out that way. But I always just think back to that Christmas party, and I don't know, they say that I have this ability to read people, or catch on to energy or whatever, and I would agree with that. I mean, I've been told that it's like more accurate than what I think it actually is. But yeah, I think that I definitely catch undercurrents, and like, I can immediately sense what's going on without anybody saying a word and stuff like that. And, like I made a video like right after I found out, and like, I don't know, maybe I'll post it one day, but I literally cried throughout the entire video because it was just like, and I didn't even know him that well. It's not like we were like besties, but I just like was consumed with this like grief, you know what I'm saying? And I just kept thinking about that Christmas party and how he like latched on to me. And I was just thinking like, how did I not know? Like, how did I not sense it? You know what I'm saying? And like, I beat myself up at first. And so I cried through the whole video, and like, I mentioned this topic that I'm basically going to get into here, and I'm going to be passionate. And again, please forgive me, I'm so not sorry. But from my own personal perspective, I also have my own personal story, which is that 4 years ago, I did 4.5 years in prison, okay? Got out of prison, went to my mom's house, and lived there with her, my brother, my son. And 2 months, actually less than 2 months, a little less than 2 months after I got out of prison, I came home from work one day and found my brother dead on the couch. He had died from an overdose, fentanyl overdose. And for some reason, like today, I was trying to find a topic, like, I wanted to speak on something that no one else speaks on, because like, I'm a truth teller. Like, I might not fully identify with like my like not supernatural, but my like this very rare, ability to like detect emotion and all that, whatever, articulate complex emotions and stuff. Like, that's kind of like, I'm still accepting that, you know what I'm saying? But God, where was I at? I have no idea where I was at. Fuck. Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna keep going. Okay, oh, there we go. So, but one thing I do identify with, and something that like I stand on and I fully own or embody, is that I am a truth teller. My recent issues coming on here and posting videos, making videos, is that I have been watering down my truth or the truth for the sake of not harming someone, or not being too intense, or causing someone to be uncomfortable, or triggering someone, and I have really watered down my truth, my passion, and all that stuff. And so I was looking for a subject that is critical, that is extremely important in the world today, but one that no one talks about, or that they water it down, or they twist it into something that it shouldn't be, or it's really not, or whatever the case may be. And so today is the day that I get on here and I'm going to speak the full truth, like the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. Okay, so this is what I want to say. When I was in the other video, the 20-minute video where I cried the entire time, one of the topics that I brought up is that I read this quote one time, and it was basically, I don't remember it like word for word, but it said, instead of pulling people out of the river, once they've drowned, why have we not went upstream to figure out why they're falling in to begin with? And so this is, I guess, the beginning of my safe space series, which I said in the other video that I was going to do a whole course or make a whole video or a whole playlist about how to become a safe space. And the topic of the other one when I was crying and stuff was like mainly like, we need to go upstream. Like, we need to go upstream. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's too much awareness after the fact. Let me give you an example. Okay, so I have a friend, and, you know, she struggles a lot with mental health, which she, you know, has a psychiatrist and stuff like that. But she was struggling one night really, really bad. Like, she doesn't call me really much now. Like, it kind of comes in waves. But at the time, it was one of those times, like, for like a couple months where she would call me and just be like, will you sit on the phone with me? You know, like, she just needed someone to be there. But this particular time, she did call me because she needed me, but like, she needed more than me. And she was just like having like a psychotic break, I guess. Like, she was just like, I don't know how to explain it, but she was struggling. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, she called some hotline or this number or whatever, where you're supposed to be able to like talk with someone, or there's like therapists, or like, I don't know how it works, but she called, and basically they told her that they can't really do anything for her unless she is suicidal, like, for real, unless she is like on the brink of, you know, trying to harm herself. And that they couldn't do anything about the fact that she was experiencing massive anxiety that was like just like consuming her, to where that she just could not function. She was like literally going crazy in her own body. And like, she wanted to climb out of her own body. Anybody that's had extreme anxiety knows what that feels like, where you just want to just climb out of your own skin, and just like, it's terrible. And that's what she was going through. And they told her that unless she was at the brink of suicide, that they couldn't do anything. And the shit pissed me off so bad, because I'm like, why are we waiting for people to get to this fucking point before we want to help them? You know what I'm saying? If we're waiting this long, there's people that aren't going to call that hotline, because most of the time, people that want to do that want to take their own life, they keep it a secret. They don't want anyone to know, because they don't want anyone to stop them. When they've gotten to that point, they're not telling anyone, because they don't want to be stopped. They don't want anyone to help them at that point. Like, they've made up their mind, basically. But they're saying, oh, well, don't call unless you're at that point. Some people that get to that point are not calling. Most of them are not. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I mean. Like, we want to wait until the last minute or after the fact to bring awareness. Why are we fucking doing that? Why are we pulling people out of the river after they've already drowned? Why are we not going upstream to figure out why the fuck they're falling in to begin with? And this is what I mean by that. And this is what I mean by my Safe Space series. We need to learn how to become safe spaces for other people. What I mean by safe space is someone feels safe in your presence. Someone feels as if they can come to you and talk about how they feel. I'm talking about to the point of them coming to you and saying, I feel like I might want to take my own life. And you being able to hold that truth without trying to fix them, without freaking out, without being like, oh my God, please don't do that. That's not what these people need to hear. Sometimes all people need is presence. I cannot express enough the value of presence, of being able to hold someone in their fullness. See, we always want to try to fix someone or minimize what they're going through, or tell them, oh, you'll be fine, like, you're strong. Like, people out here that are strong, that's the last thing we want to fucking hear. And I'm not going to go into that, because I really could go on and on about that shit too. But we want to tell people these generic surface level things. Or if someone was to come to us and say, you know, I'm feeling like I want to do this, we freak out, you know, like, whatever the case may be, or we want to try to call someone, or, you know what I'm saying, put them in a fucking facility. Like, people need to feel as safe, like safe enough to be able to come to you with that extreme of a truth. And I'm not saying everybody's going to come to you like that. That's like, I'm saying we need to get to that point. But even before that, like, people need to feel like they can come to you. You're not going to try to fix them. You're not going to minimize what they're going through. You're not going to judge them. You're not going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to... Some people just get uncomfortable because someone's crying. Like, I'll never understand that. Like, why that's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're crying. You know, it's like we always want to fix the problem. Sometimes people don't want to be fixed. They just want to be held. They want to be seen. They want to feel safe. They want to be able to talk about the way that they feel without any type of reaction or any type of really anything besides presence from the person that they're talking to. I'm going to go back to presence because this is important. Presence means, like I said, holding someone in their fullness, and that can be displayed in ways such as like just sitting with someone in silence, you know, like just sitting there with them, you know, or I just saw a metaphor for it, which is, you know, that you can sit with someone in the dark without trying to turn the light on, just being there. Like whatever they tell you, whatever they express, most of the time you don't need to talk at all. At all. There, you know, if you feel like there's something that you can say, then obviously, yes, say it, but let me put restrictions on it. It doesn't need to be anything that you talk about, oh, trying to fix them. It doesn't need to be, oh, you'll be fine, you'll get through it. If anything, it needs to be, I see you and I'm here, if you're going to say anything at all, okay? You need to be able to sit with them in the dark and hold the whole truth of what they're telling you and just sit there with them and be present. That's it. Sometimes that's all people need. I'm not saying that's a cure. What I'm saying is that we have made mental health this whole thing of, you know, oh, you have anxiety, you know, like that sucks, like, you know, mental health sucks, but, you know, just pull yourself out of it, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? You got this, like, you know, everybody goes through this. And it's just become like, first it was a stigma, and now it's so normalized that people think like, you know, you can't really express or go into depth about, you know, what you're struggling with at that time. Or this is even worse, and this is one that I'm passionate about as well, and I'm just going to touch on it just a little bit. Or this one, which probably fires me up more than anything, is that the lack of access to care. Like, when I tell you that gets me so fired up, is that there are people out here suffering that if they got proper care, their whole life could be changed. Their entire life could be changed just by getting proper medical care, proper psychiatry. You know what I'm saying? Proper medicine. Yes, I'm pro mental health medicine. It saved my life. Yes, I am. Now, if you are against medicine and you find some other type of way to get through it, then that's great. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sick of people getting on here and saying, oh, just meditate. You know what I'm saying? Like journal every night, pray. And I'm not saying anything about prayer. I pray. Y'all see over time, like, I'm big on God. I love Jesus, but this is just what we're told. You know what I'm saying? Just pray, just do this, just do that, you know. And it's just like, that's not what people need to hear. That's not what's going to save them. That is not going to keep them from falling out of the river. It's not. Sometimes people are in a prison in their head. Like, they walk around carrying so much pain, so much anxiety, so much, you know, just confusion, you know, about what they're feeling. Like, that's a huge one. Like, people that, feel down and depressed, a lot of the time it's just from confusion. They're like, what is going on with me right now? I don't understand. Or people that, internalize everything and never talk about how they feel, probably because they don't have a safe space. But, like they internalize how they feel, or they don't want to be a burden to others, so they don't speak about how they feel. Or like I said, they have like jumbled up emotions inside and they don't even know how to work them out, and it just becomes overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? I've been there for a lot of those. You know what I'm saying? Like, been there myself. But these people can be saved. They absolutely can be saved. But we have to become a safe space. We have to become present. And, I pride myself, I guess, on my ability to be a safe space for others. I'm not saying I do it perfectly, but I'm able to do it very strongly, but I'm also able to hold truth. I have a very big place of I can hold a lot of truth, so that helps me. But that doesn't mean that y'all can't. That doesn't mean that y'all can't, over time, grow yours too. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can become a safe space for others. We can pay attention to other people past surface level. Like, I'm sorry, like, if you are close to someone and like you see them every day, or you spend time with them all the time, you know when something's off. If not everybody can just like pick up on energy like me, but everybody has a sense of it, especially when it's someone that you're close to. When something's off if you really pay attention. If you're really paying attention to this person, when they're not really acting like their normal self, I guess, or when something is just like not exactly right with their typical self. You know what I'm saying? That's your time to act. That's your time to go and say, hey, I've noticed that things are a little off, or you seem a little down, or, what's going on? Can we talk? And at first they might say no. And I'm not saying like pressure them to the point of being uncomfortable. But if it's someone that you're close to, you can even push a little bit. Not to the point of like scaring them or making them mad, but push a little if you have to. And just say, look, and I've done this before. Look, I know you probably are afraid to talk about it. Or I know you probably feel like you might be a burden, but you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can push just a little bit and then give them that safe space. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I mean by keeping people from falling in the river to begin with. Sometimes people just need presence. Sometimes people just need someone to look beneath the surface. Sometimes people just need the other people in their life to stop being so fucking selfish, to stop only caring about themselves and their life and what they got going on. Sometimes they need people to pay the fuck attention, okay? Like, sometimes that's what they need. That's what these people need to keep from going into the river, okay? Like, this shit has to stop. Like, this shit has to stop. I'm tired of people being pulled out after they've already drowned. I'm sick of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just happened with a coworker, and that's what, like, kind of, ignited that spark. And then, of course, like, my own brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was lost his life at 29 years old, due to mental health issues, due to, like, depression and stuff like that. My brother constantly walked around with a dark cloud over his head. So even I am guilty of not always being a safe space. You know what I'm saying? Like, I almost want to give an excuse for it, but there is no excuse, and I'm not going to do it. Okay? We have to stop waiting until people fall into the river. I know I've said it 1,000 times in this video, but I need y'all to get it. this whole bullshit of like after the fact, like bringing awareness after the fact, you know, a hotline that tells you unless you're feeling like you want to harm yourself, we can't help you. Instead of funding for other bullshit, we need to be funding for people to have access to proper mental health care. But most importantly, and this is just what hit me, and I think this is a large part of the problem, and I'm going to say it again. We need to stop being so motherfucking selfish. And that's really, I feel like that might be the core of it. This is the first time it's dawned on me. And sometimes that happens when I get to talking about shit, is, you know, something will dawn on me in the moment. But something is telling me that this is tied to selfishness. It's tied to the fact that we are so caught up in our own fucking self. We're all caught up in how many likes we got on our last picture, or how many followers we have on fucking TikTok, or how many fake ass friends we have to run around with and, you know, have lunch and go on trips and all this other stuff so we can post it on Instagram like we're just living this great life. And we probably have a friend in that circle that we're running around with that's fucking suffering like fuck, and we don't even know it. So I'm just going to say, and I feel like I'm right on this, I'm just going to say that we need to stop being so fucking selfish. We need to look beyond ourselves. We need to stop just worrying about ourselves and pay the fuck attention. If you have someone close to you and you make a point to pay attention, if you make a point to not worry about yourself so much, you will notice a shift. You will notice a change. You will notice when someone's off. And that is your time to act right then. That is your time to act. That is your time to become a safe space. I'm not going to go into how to become a safe space because I'm going to do a whole series on it. It's a lot that goes into it, and it's not something that is easily taught. You know, it's kind of hard to explain to someone how to be present. But I'm just going to put it the best way that I can, which is being present just means seeing someone in their fullness, letting them admit or say out loud their full truth, and you being able to hold it without doing anything else. That is presence. That is a safe space. These people don't want advice. When they're in this type of situation, they don't want advice. They don't want you to fix them. They don't want you to say, oh, you'll be okay. Okay, because most of the time, you haven't ever felt the way that they're feeling in that moment. So how can you give advice? How can you try to fix? You know what I'm saying? When you don't even know what the fuck they're going through. They probably don't even know how to articulate what they're going through. But if they come to you and say, I just need to get this out, or I'm going to try to get this out. If we can teach people it's okay to talk about your feelings, even if you're uncomfortable with it, or even if you don't exactly know how. You know, it's hard for people to talk about their feelings. Half the time they have feelings that they know they have them, but they don't know how to express them. They don't even have words for them. They're just all jumbled up inside. I mean, I think of it as like, you know, whenever you get like a bunch of different colors of yarn, like all bunched up in a ball, and it's just like they're all just all over the place. And like if you were to try to, you know, separate them, it would take you forever, like pulling the different pieces out and like trying to, you know, like get it all entangled. Like that is a lot of people's internal world. Like their emotions are so jumbled up, they don't even know what's going on. And you wouldn't, like, it is insanely helpful for someone to be able to begin to sort out those emotions, or to start pulling those strings apart to where that they're not crossing over and getting all jumbled up together into this big ball of confusion. You know what I'm saying? And having a safe space gives them that opportunity to pull out a string just a little bit, to unravel the ball just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and over time, they could probably at least somewhat get to a place of where they can, start to really even out or manage or whatever the case may be. Like, we can really help these people. Like, you don't have to be like me where, I can articulate complex emotions and I can hold multiple truths at once. You don't have to be like that to be able to help someone. Even if you don't know how to articulate your emotions, you still give someone the space to try to do it for themselves. Like, this isn't like a thing of just like, you need to be gifted to do it. No. If we become safe spaces for each other, we can help each other do that over time. Like, I truly believe that. Like, I feel like my job on here is to get on here and help people understand how they feel, like speak these emotions out loud and like illustrate them or give metaphors for them so that people can be like, holy shit, like that's what I've been feeling this whole time. Like, I do feel like that's my mission, but not everyone is going to hear my mission. I'm not the only person capable of helping someone like undo that ball of yarn. Like, everyone can do it. Everyone can do it. And everyone can be a safe space. Anyone can be a safe space. Anyone can be present. Period. I don't care what no one says. Maybe if it's uncomfortable at first, who fucking cares? They're feeling uncomfortable. They're feeling past uncomfortable. They're hurting. You know what I'm saying? They're in pain. They're confused. You know what I'm saying? If it makes you uncomfortable, who gives a fuck? Like, that's my whole point. Like, we want to just avoid being uncomfortable. I've gave this illustration before and I'm going to give it again. Okay? Like, if we were to put, I'm trying to get my hands in here. If we were to put the emotions on like a linear scale, right? And one side being like the most positive emotion, like joy or whatever, and the worst, being like border, like almost at suicidal. Okay? So like, we've got this scale, right? Okay, so like, this is your middle. Like, this is the very middle. I forget what it's called, the median, whatever it's called, doesn't matter. Okay, I'm gonna show you where, okay, let me do it like this. I'm gonna show you where uncomfortability is on this scale. Here's our scale. Okay, we're coming here. I'm gonna show you where uncomfortability is. Right there. It's barely past the median line. Like, the median line would be like not feeling anything, or just like, I don't mean not feeling anything, but just like being completely like normal day to day. Like, you're not stressing, you don't have anxiety, you're not, you know what I'm saying? You're just kind of like in a flow state, I guess. Like, that's your median. All right. Uncomfortability is just slightly to the left. I mean, like a tiny degree to the left. Like, it's not really that bad of emotions, like of an emotion. Like, when you look at all the negative emotions that there are to experience, that is, it doesn't even hurt. It's just being uncomfortable. It doesn't even hurt. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, we avoid it like the plague. And it's just like, so you're going to let someone drown because you don't want to be fucking uncomfortable? Like, it's not even painful. It's just uncomfortable. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to kill you. You're not going to die from being uncomfortable. These people are suffering. They're way past that point. They're way past that, just over the median point. Okay? They're on down, damn near at the last spot. Okay? And we're allowing them to suffer because we don't want to be uncomfortable. We need to start being comfortable with being uncomfortable. First of all, that's your first step. I just realized. We need to start learning how to be uncomfortable, or being comfortable with being uncomfortable, especially in situations where someone's life could possibly be on the line. Like, you cannot tell me that letting someone suffer, or let me put it this way. You cannot tell me that you being uncomfortable makes it okay to watch someone else suffer greatly, just because you don't want to feel that way. You cannot tell me that justifies it, that you being uncomfortable makes it okay to let them suffer. It doesn't. Let me tell you right now, it doesn't. It does not. I'm trying to figure out an ending point here because I feel like I've made my point as best I can for now. But I'm just going to leave it at this because this is the term that I keep going back to, or the phrase, which is we need to be going upstream. I'm tired. I hurt so much watching these people being pulled out of the river and put in a fucking casket. Okay? We can prevent this. This is preventable. I'm not saying it's 100% preventable, but I'm saying like we can make changes and take steps towards lowering this statistic. Okay? We can. We really can. We need to go upriver. We're bringing awareness to this at the wrong fucking time. Like we got our timeline fucked up. Why are we bringing awareness after the fact? Why are we not teaching people how to keep people from falling in to begin with? Why is this a thing? Like, why are hotlines saying unless you're fucking suicidal, don't call us? Like, explain this to me. You know what I'm saying? So like, all right, step 1, stop being so fucking selfish. Step 2, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And then step 3 after that is learn how to be fucking present. Learn how to be a safe space for someone. Learn how to be able to hold someone in their fullness without trying to fix them, without minimizing it, without fucking telling them you're strong, you'll be okay. Hold someone in their fullness and make them feel safe. That's what we need to be doing. That is the cure for it. I don't have no psychology research to back that up. I can't say that psychology, I research psychology, but I'm telling you from my point of view, from what I am feeling in my spirit right now, is that this is how we keep people, or we keep people from drowning, or like how we can reduce this statistic or have it start decreasing. Okay? How do you keep someone from drowning? It only makes sense that you go up and you keep them from falling in. If they don't fall in, they can't drown. You get what I'm saying? Like, it just seems so simple. Like, if they don't fall in to begin with, they can't drown. And that's what we need to remember. Okay? Step 1, stop being selfish. Step 2, start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Step 3, learn how to become a safe space. Practice being present. Okay? That's the cure. I'm telling you right now, that's the cure. All right? Please forgive me. I'm so not sorry for anything I said in this video. I'm not. It's time that somebody said something about it. It's time that it was brought to awareness. It's time that we stop watering down mental health and the severity of it. And how just telling someone, you know, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get back going. You know, like, I had this girl, you know, that from one of my old jobs, and she was pregnant and she was so excited about it. Apparently her and her boyfriend or whoever had been trying for a long time. And when I tell you, she was so excited. Like, she was like at month 1 and she's already looking in the mirror. She's like, look, I got a hump. Like, you don't show in your first month, you know what I'm saying? But like, she was so excited that she just could see a bump already. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, she ended up having a miscarriage and she was out of work for like, you know, a couple of days. She had the ectopic pregnancy, you know, the tube pregnancy or whatever. And it caused some like internal bleeding, I think, or whatever. And once I found out, when I asked about her, I think, and they were like, oh, she's been in the hospital, she'll be back next week or whatever. And I didn't even ask why, because for one, I just knew. But for 2, I don't need to know why. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't necessarily need to know why. I just know that you're in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? And then I knew anyways. So I sent her a message and I just said, look, you don't have to tell me what happened. You know, I'm not going to ask you, you know, what's going on. I just know that I'm worried about you. You know, I want you to be okay. And then I told her, I said, if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here. If you just need someone to sit in the bed with you and not say anything at all, I got you. Please call me. If you just need a hug and to cry on someone's shoulder, I got you. Like, whatever you need, if you just want to sit there and not say anything at all, I will sit with you. I literally told her this. And then when she came back to work, well, she wrote me back and she was like, that message meant so much to me. Thank you. You know, blah, blah, blah. I'm not bragging. I'm just trying to make a point. When she came back to work, she was like, you know, out of all the messages that I got, yours is the one that touched me the most or helped me the most. And, you know, it really meant something to me. She gave me a hug. And then this is, I guess, where I was going with this. You know, a couple of days later, whatever, you know, I asked her how she was doing. And she was like, you know, like, I've just been sitting in my bed and just like staring at the wall. And like, you know, I haven't been getting up and doing anything. And, you know, I started back, you know, smoking weed and stuff like that. And she's like, some days I just don't feel like I can get out of bed, you know. And she was like, but I know I just got to get up and keep going. You know, like, that's what society makes us feel like, oh, I just got to get up and keep going. You know what I'm saying? And I looked at her and I said, you're allowed to take time to process this. You're allowed to grieve. You are allowed to sit in your bed for days. Like, this whole thing of like, just pull yourself back up, get going, you'll be fine. That is some fucking bullshit. That is some bullshit. When someone is going through something, they don't need to be told, like, just get up and keep going. You got this. You're strong. Fuck being strong. Shit still hurts even when you're strong. And I told her that. I said, you know, people in society, you know, want to make us believe that we just got to get up right away and get back going. And I looked at her and I said, you don't have to do that. It's okay if you want to sit in your bed and stare at the wall. It's okay if you feel like you can't get out of the bed at all for that whole entire day. Like, that's okay. You're allowed to have time to process. You're allowed to have time to grieve. This girl was so excited. She said her and her boyfriend had been trying for a while. She had gotten to the point where she didn't think it was going to happen. She was devastated. And you're going to tell this girl, just get up and keep going, you'll be fine? No, fuck you, first of all. You know? And she really had it in her mind that that's what she was supposed to do. Like, she wasn't allowed to sit there and grieve or process or stare at the fucking wall. When I told her that, I'm telling you, and because I can read micro expressions and stuff like that. When I told her that, when I tell you the look of relief that came on her face, she literally felt relieved. I could see it. Just the relief of like, okay, like, I'm allowed to do this. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, I don't have to feel guilty for grieving. I don't have to feel guilty for needing to process. She literally felt relieved by that. I don't know if she took that and then finally allowed herself to grieve without guilt. I don't know what happened or how that went, but you could just see the look of relief on her face of just being told, you're allowed to process. You're allowed to feel this. You know how we heal? The first step is by feeling. We have to feel it first. We have to go through the process of feeling the pain, and it sucks. It fucking sucks. I'm not even going to sit here and act like it's easy. No, that shit fucking sucks. All right? But the only way to truly heal from something is you have to feel it first. And if we're telling people, we're not giving you time to heal, or you taking time to heal is weak, or come on and get yourself back up, like, we don't have time for you to be sitting around grieving, you are basically hindering their healing process. Like, you are stunting their healing process. You are hurting them by doing that. When people don't heal, it stays inside. Okay? People that end up taking their own lives are people that probably have a lot of wounds that they have not healed from, either because they don't know how to or because they haven't been allowed the opportunity to heal from them. Okay? I don't know what led me to all of that, but I'm so fucking passionate about this shit, y'all. And I am going to do my series, but we have to go upstream. People need to feel fucking safe with us. Okay? And I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't know how to be any more clear, passionate, get my point across than what I just said. We need to go upstream. Keep people from falling the fuck in and give them a safe space so that they don't fucking fall in to begin with. That is our job. I'm sick of pulling people out of the river and seeing them go in caskets. All right? I'm sick of it. And you should be too.